Today, I'm ranking every robot in Mortal Kombat. Oh my god, you're so out of ideas, it's embarrassing. There's like only 3 robots? 13. Yeah, there's 13 different robots in Mortal Kombat. So shut your mouth, you fake fan. I banish you to the pocket dimension. Kronika is there too, so enjoy the company. But yeah, I was shocked to learn how many robots and cyborgs exist throughout the Mortal Kombat series. Everybody knows the first 3 because they're iconic. But yeah, there's 10 more characters outside of that. Also, all of them are playable at some point, by the way. I'm not including any characters that are cutscene only and stuff like that. No, every character discussed today was playable at some point in Mortal Kombat history. So today, let's rank them all. But first, leave a like on this video or Kronika returns in the next Mortal Kombat game. We're cooked! But for anyone new to this channel, I'm trying to reach 500,000 subscribers before 2026, so let's do it together. If you enjoyed today's video, subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any future content. Without any further ado, everyone, let's begin. Alright, here we go, ranking every Clanker in Mortal Kombat. First up, we have the 2 most iconic robots, Sector and Cyrax, otherwise known as Ketchup and Mustard. That's right, they had code names. Before the developers at Midway had any clue what their names would actually be, they called them Ketchup and Mustard, which is where that channel name comes from, and the pro players got their names from that too. So that's a quick little fun fact for anybody wondering why this is Ketchup and this is Mustard. They're twin brothers who named themselves after Alpha, Cyrax, and Sector. Pretty cool stuff. Obviously, both these characters are going in iconic clankers. Top row's the best, bottom row's the worst. Pretty self-explanatory, but felt the need to explain it. Smoke, though. I feel bad saying this, but anytime I say smoke, your brain immediately thinks, wait, cyber smoke or regular smoke? So for that reason alone, he's going 1 tier down in gearheads. Which I know might be controversial, but it's a fact, okay? Nobody touches Sector and Cyrax, but sometimes cyber smoke is a human and no longer a robot. And that's because his popularity is even or lesser than the human version, despite the robot version being first, I think. Anyways, that's why he's going in gearheads, alright? Still respectable rank, but he's not in the top tier. He just can't be. Next up, we have Cyber Reptile. So this guy is from the Challenge Tower in Mortal Kombat 9. You actually play as him too, which is neat. However, that being said, he's not going to be in the first 2 tiers for sure. Maybe in Rust Bucket. I don't think he's Scrap Pile because I like the idea of this character, even though it makes no sense really because he's not a Lin Kuei member, and for anyone watching not aware, the Cyber Lin Kuei are where all the cyborgs come from. So how did Reptile get cyberized despite never being part of the Lin Kuei clan? I got no idea. It was just a fun one-time thing. So you know what, that in mind, Scrap Pile. I'm sorry, in the Scrap Pile with you. Hydro. So here's an interesting one. I'm putting this guy in Rust Bucket, mainly because he needs more sauce. The character does have history. He's an original Lin Kuei member alongside Sub-Zero. In the comics, he's killed by Scorpion, then in the Machinima series, he shows up as a cyborg, and I think in one of the games, he's also a cyborg, but it's very minor. Then fast forward to Mortal Kombat 1, and he's back. We have a Cyber Hydro once again. So yeah, this character has history, but just not enough sauce. Cyber Scarlet Scrap Pile for the same reasons as Cyber Reptile, although even worse because Cyber Scarlet's only in the mobile version of Mortal Kombat 9. That's right, and also I believe she plays the same as regular Scarlet. I could be wrong, but I think it's the exact same moveset. Same with Reptile though, so you know, yeah, Scrap Pile. My main point is that Cyber Reptile is rare and Cyber Scarlet is even more rare, like ultra rare. If these 2 characters were Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they'd be worth a lot of money. Frost and MK11. So this one's interesting because Frost doesn't act like a cyborg in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Sector and Cyrax have this mechanical aspect with how they speak. They act very computer-like, as if their brain is programmed, you know what I mean? Whereas Frost is nothing like that. However, her moveset is really cool. She spins around and has tons of cybernetic abilities, along with some unique attacks too, like her Frost Wall. That move is such a cool concept. Frost has some sauce for sure. So I can't put her in iconic, but maybe Gearhead is okay. I think Cyber Frost is cool, and let me know in the comments, should Cyber Frost come back? I'm asking because normally Frost is too similar to Sub-Zero, at least according to many fans. So maybe Cyber Frost is preferable in future games to make her more different from regular Sub-Zero. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, before I forget, Frost got a dump truck. My god, that's a big dumpy. The Terminator, otherwise known as T-800. I'll be honest with you guys, he should be an iconic to many of you, not to me. It's gonna be a hot take. I think T-800 goes in Rust Bucket because there's so many of him. Before you freak out, don't freak out. There's just so many of that model, especially especially in the future. The T-800 is a very common cyborg. And yes, he's a cyborg. Some people don't think so, but yes, he is. He's got human blood and human skin. And if you're wondering why, I'll try to keep it fast and simple, okay? The time travel machine was made by humans and only organic matter can go back in time. That was intentional so robots could not follow them. However, Skynet found a loophole by just putting living skin on top of their machines, and that's how they chased after John Connor's father into the past. So yes, the T-800 is a cyborg. The T-1000, I'm not so sure, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Oh wait, definitely in front of Hydro. I'll put him behind Frost, you know, he'll be in the back of this row somewhere. Cyber Sub-Zero, here's the thing, fans love this character. I'm not super hype on him. I think he's got novelty for sure. He was fun for a time, but fans love this guy. He's way more popular in the MK fandom than you would think. At least as a casual player, right? You would assume that Cyber Sub-Zero only in one game, not that big of a deal. Actually in 2 games, if you count his Mortal Kombat X variant, and I do. Yeah, this one is tough. I think I'll put him over here. You know what? Maybe I'll move Smoke up. I'll move him up, but he's in the back. Next up is RoboCop. Again, a spicy take, but I've got to do this. Iconic Clanker. I'm sorry, RoboCop is just too dang cool. He's such a fun character by himself. And unlike the T-800, there's only one RoboCop, so he's unique, and that's brownie points on this tier list for sure. You know what? I just can't stop being controversial today because Frost, I think, should go in front of Cyber Sub-Zero since her moves are all very unique. Oh, it's hard to say though. I guess here for now. The T-1000, here's the thing. Only one of them, to my knowledge. Maybe some of the new films made more, but I'll be honest, those new films kinda booty cheeks in my opinion. I don't like them. They dilute the series in my opinion, muddy the waters. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. The reason I brought any of that up is because the T-1000 was unique at some point. There was only one of him, and in fact, Skynet was scared of him, which is why they never made a second apparently, or maybe not a third. I forget the exact number, but he's very rare compared to the T-800, which was a very common Terminator model. So that definitely gives him brownie points. I'm thinking like, you know what? I think the T-1000 in Mortal Kombat terms is gonna be iconic because his gameplay is so unique, morphing into liquid, other characters, all that cool stuff. Then the fatalities had to be completely reworked around him due to how he shapeshifts and stuff. So yeah, the T-1000 had a big impact on Mortal Kombat, and I don't think fans are ever gonna forget him. Oh boy, next up are the lady variants. So these two are not the same, in my opinion. They're not gonna be in the same tier. Lady Cyrax is not that interesting, Rust Bucket tier. Because come on, she's identical to normal Cyrax. They changed nothing with this character except she was dating Scorpion at some point in the past apparently. Yeah, big whoop, I don't care, it's not interesting. But Lady Sector is actually interesting. She feels different. Originally, she's making cyber suits for Bi-Han and has a crush on him, but it's current, alright? It actively affects the story of Mortal Kombat 1. Then later, she goes out of her way to free Noob Saibot, so she's the reason he's back in the next game, if that happens, right? Because Sector freed him. Then her gameplay is cool too, because it uses everything from past Sector variants, right? Including his big rifle that came back, along with the jetpacks, the flamethrower, the missiles. She's got a bit of everything, so I think that Lady Sector is pretty cool. I'm putting her in the front of Gearheads. No, I'm just kidding. She goes behind Smoke, but in front of Cyber Sub-Zero. She's got more impact than Cyber Sub-Zero. She just does. Oh man, I'm mixing these characters around for sure. Stay tuned, alright? They're gonna move a bit. Because next up is Cyborg. This man is iconic for sure. He's all 3 cyborgs combined with a secret 4th cyborg. That's right, Cyber Sub-Zero. Lots of players don't know about that, believe it or not. Which is crazy to think about, but every character in MK11 has a variationless option. You hold the triangle or something and it gives them no variation, just their base moves. Which is normally not that cool, but for some characters it gives them a new unique move or just some kind of gameplay change to make things spicy. And then with Cyborg, it was the spiciest because his variationless move was just a 4th variation. It was Cyber Sub-Zero, which yeah, is really cool. 4 variations for one character. That's iconic for sure. But alright, now it's time to move these characters around. Maybe Frost goes down here, T-800 behind, and then Hydro at the back because again, no sauce. No, Cyrax goes here, alright, Cyrax goes here. And this might honestly be a good balance. I'm considering putting T-1000 down here to even things out, but I shouldn't worry about that. It should be about that ranking itself, not how the tier looks. My OCD brain wants to even things out, but should I? Should I do that right now? I honestly don't know. It's tough, man. It's so tough. I think move RoboCop here because he's got a personality. unlike Cyborg, who really doesn't. He just wants world domination, which is super generic. Like, how do you get more generic than that? You know, I almost want to put the T800 up here and then Cyborg down here because he's an actual gearhead, whereas the top row is all unique characters in their own right. They have some degree of personality. Should I put T800 here because his films are iconic and his gameplay was actually pretty cool in MK11? I don't think that warrants him being in front of Cyberfrost. I really don't. Then again, people would argue that he's always been a cyborg, right? T800 started off iconic, whereas Cyberfrost is a variant of an existing character, so maybe that should bump her down. Maybe that should. But Frost had a big role in the story though. She actually did. Like, she started the new Cyber Lin Kuei and was working for Chronica the whole time. She's kind of a big deal. In fact, beating her is what stopped the entire army. She was in control of everything, so if she'd been a bit smarter, the cyborgs could have won because of her. She played a bigger role than people think. Yeah, she jobbed, but that's more so NetherRealm writing, right? The villains always lose. I think we're almost done. Hydro in the scrap pile, okay? Hear me out. Here's why. I'd rather have Cyber Rain than Hydro. I'd rather have Cyber Sub-Zero than Hydro. Alright, and that's just the truth. I'm sorry, Hydro, you had potential, but NetherRealm waited way too long to use you. Along with Midway, they get the blame for this too. Those comics were around during the Midway era, and they did nothing with Hydro, so it's their fault also. And alright everyone, there you have it, the Clanker's tier list ranking every cyborg and robot throughout Mortal Kombat history. If you skipped ahead and don't like the ranking, please go back and watch the video. It's not that wrong. Don't get mad at me in the comments because you didn't watch the video, okay? I promise to you, I explain my reasoning behind every single placement. So thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.